Former President of the United States Ronald Reagan once said, "The preservation of our environment is not a liberal or conservative challenge, it's common sense." Unfortunately, sometimes common sense is ignored. Humans are contributing to the decline of our national parks in several ways. First, by not respecting wildlife and the habitats in which they live. Secondly, by human error, which causes injuries and fatalities each year at our national parks. And last, by sheer carelessness and disregard for natural beauty. I'm here to inform you of the gradual decline of our national parks, and I hope by the end of this it encourages you to take a stand for our environment. In March of 1872, Yellowstone National Park was named the first national park by Congress and by Ulysses S. Grant. The purpose of Yellowstone was to create a public park or pleasuring ground for the benefit and enjoyment of the people. In 1916, the National Park Service was created to offer protection for the 35 national parks and monuments that were there at the time. The National Park System, according to nationalparks.org, now encompasses over 59 national parks in the United States and 417 total parks. The purpose of them is to conserve the scenery and the natural and historical objects and the wildlife that live there. Also to keep the parks unimpaired for future generations to come. The first way national parks are being harmed is by not respecting the wildlife that live there. For example, in May of 2016, visitors at Yellowstone National Park found a bison calf along the road. They decided to put it in the back of their vehicle and drove it to a nearby park ranger station. They thought the bison calf was cold or hungry. Not only were they put in jail and fined, but the park tried several attempts to get the bison calf reunited with its herd. They wouldn't accept him. The bison calf needed to be euthanized. Feeding wildlife is also a big problem in national parks. This poses a danger for both humans and animals. It could cause a behavior change in the animal, causing them to approach humans looking for food. It can also cause humans to get bitten. In Grand Canyon National Park, several visitors have been bitten by rock squirrels in attempts to give them food. Some animals have rabies and viruses that can be passed on to the humans. It also prevents the animal from fending for itself in cold winter months when survival is needed the most. The second way that national parks are being harmed by humans is the careless visitors are giving national parks a bad reputation by not following rules. According to FoxNews.com, on average, 160 visitors per year die while visiting national parks, mostly because they do not follow simple rules that are located on signs throughout the park or the literature given to you when you enter the park. One example of negligence of a visitor of a park was an illegal campfire in 2013 at Yosemite National Park. 400 square miles of land were burned down, leaving $127 million of damage. Others have also sustained serious injuries by getting too close to wildlife. In national parks, 25 yards is recommended to stay away from bison and elk, and at least 100 yards for animals such as wolves or bears. I've had the pleasure of going to several national parks, and I've seen visitors jump out of their cars to get a selfie with a bison or a selfie with an elk. I've also seen people get too close to hot springs, and in recent years, in recent months, several visitors have been killed by hot springs in Yellowstone National Park. Lastly, national parks are being vandalized. In parks such as Joshua Tree and Arches National Park, where they're known for their rock formations, people are vandalizing them with spray paint or carving initials and names into the rocks, ruining their natural beauty. In early years, visitors at national parks such as Yellowstone used to dump laundry soap in the geysers in hopes that the eruptions would be more spectacular than what they already are. A national park should be enjoyed, but when you leave, no one should know that you were ever there. In 1994, a nonprofit organization called Leave No Trace was created to educate people about their recreational impact on nature. If these problems do not get resolved soon, there may not be national parks for future generations to enjoy. They're also thinking about increasing the cost of entering the national parks or even making it a necessity to make a reservation to go to a national park. I urge you to visit npca.org. There you'll find an advocacy page where you could find out more ways that you can get involved. You can speak on the national park's behalf. I'll leave you with one final note. American photographer and environmentalist Ansel Adams said it best when he said, "Once destroyed, nature's beauty cannot be repurchased at any price." And that's true. Thank you for your time, and I hope you enjoyed my presentation. And please, when you go to a national park, please leave it the way that it was.